Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for the next video in this series. Just wanted to say before I get started, hope you all had a good Christmas and a happy New Year, and I hope everything for the rest of the year goes well for everyone. So, you can see I've gone through this building a little bit. I attached this side building like I said I would. So everything's, all one piece. What I want to address this time are these row windows right here, just this second floor. This, as we said, is going to be a department store, and there's going to be more than one floor to the department store. Alright, so this second floor is what we're going to worry about now. Now, to be a department store, I don't really want these type of double hung windows in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutters here. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut out these little pieces here. I'm just going to go right across. Now, what I'd like to do is make each of these windows one giant picture window. So again, same cutters here, and I'm going to go through, I'm going to take the flat side of the cutters and I'm going to put them to the side that I want to keep so that it makes a nice flat even cut. I'm just going to snip that right there. Flip them around, do the same thing on this side. Like that. Alright, so that's what we have. So we can get rid of these pieces. We don't need any of that stuff. So this is what we end up with. So now we have picture windows. But as you can see in here, we still have these little parts and bits and pieces up here at the top of the window here, on the bottom here, and then we have these little things here on the sides when we cut out the cross pieces. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get a file like this, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to file those little bits off. Okay, and I'm just going to go through each and every one of these windows and file those sides flat. Now, this part here, the top and the bottom of the window, I'm going to file this down right where I want it at, just like that. Alright, so we have two of those. So, like I said, I'm going to do two of these on camera and I'm going to do the rest off because repetition is all it is, and if I show you how I do one, that's how I did all of them. So now I'm going to dig out my flat blade here, and you know what, I'm actually going to change the blade. I need a new one in here. I want to make sure I got a nice sharp blade, so I have more. Throw that one off to the side. We'll drop a brand new one in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and we're going to have to cut off a little bit of the window detail right here. So I'm going to take my blade, I'm going to line up with the window edge, and I'm just going to rock it back and forth, and I'm going to trim that down. But I don't want to go all the way through. Okay? And then we'll go this way. Like that. And I'm going to do this for each of these windows. And come back to this one. And when I do these, the blade, you can see it's beveled. So I'm taking the flat side of the blade and I'm putting it against the part that I want to keep. And do the same thing again. Like that. And then you can kind of see how I'm going. I'm going to do the same with all the rest of these windows in here. So you can see what we end up with. You can see I've cut off the extra window detail as opposed to this window here. And then we're going to do that to all of these, and then that will make our picture windows for the second floor of the department store. Alright, and then from here up would be apartments. In my mind, that's how that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and finish all of these off, and we'll come back when I have that done. Alright, so I'm back, and we finished cutting out all the window sections here. So let me give you a little closer look as to how that came out. And this is it. You see we have all the window details. I've cut back in, got rid of all the side pieces. You probably notice, I don't know if it shows or not, but these being double hung windows, on the sides right here, this upper half sticks out further than the bottom half. I'm not going to worry about that because they were double hung, so you can see this upper sash sticks out further than the lower sash. I don't care. It's fine. When I go and put the window glazing in, it's never going to show. So it's not enough to worry about. So these are all done now. And what we need to do now is to get this building freestanding. So that means we have to do the sidewalls on here. Okay, because I've done all the cutting that I need to do on this building as it is. There's no more major construction work. So now it's time to do the sidewalls. And what I have, let me move this out of the way. What I have are the sidewalls that go to this building. So I have 1, 2, 3 of these. And what these are, so I need 3 of them, even though there are 2 ends to the building, right? So this end here goes here, this one goes to this building, and then this one is going to go in the center here, because at the end of this building we need to have an end of it right here. We need an end to it right here. So that's this wall. That's why it's shorter than the other. And of course this wall is shorter than all of them because that matches this building here. Now, because we're not putting a backing on this building, it's going to back up to the wall. These aren't going to be the full width, but I do want to have the window details in here. And I'm making them a little deeper than I need to be a wall flat, because I have some plans that I'm going to do with this later on, and I need to have these window details. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to cut them just to make things easy for myself. I'm going to cut them to the width of this ruler. Okay, so what I'm doing is I actually measured it out here. It's not exactly the same, but what I'm ending up doing is cutting these to the width of the ruler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Actually, if we put these upside down, we'll go this way, it'll be a better flat surface. I'm going to run these and I'm going to use the ruler as my guide like this. And then this one. And then this one. And I'm going to clamp all of these under the ruler so that the ruler is going to be my cut guide. So I'm going to start here. We're going to line all of these up. I'm going to line them up. I'm going to use this yellow line. So what I'm using is I'm taking this bottom edge of my mat here, okay? And I'm going to set all my pieces up against the yellow line on here. And that's going to be my line edge. I'm going to take the clamps. I have 4 of them. Because I need these to all be cut the same, and if I cut them individually, I'm afraid they're not going to be the same. I myself am really not that accurate. I do have my issues, such I suppose so does everybody. But that's my weakness, is getting things copied the same throughout a whole thing like this. So I'm going to take that like that. I'm going to back up the ruler here. Like that. And then I'm going to clamp these down. Alright, then I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to start lightly, and I'm just going to run down the edge. Alright, hopefully that's enough passes. If not, I'm at least deep enough where I can do the more passes without the straight edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snap these. Alright, there's one. Alright, these are a little bit thicker, so alright, so these are all our sidewalls. And I'm making sure this lip at the top goes to the roof. Alright, this end will go to the building, this end to the wall. And that's these 2 pieces right here. You can see this was the original pencil line I was going to cut this on. It only ended up being just another 1/16 wider than what I was going to do. It was just easier to follow the width of the ruler. For a 1/16 of an inch, I'm willing to let that go. So now we need to attach these. These windows we don't need. These will end up going in the scrap bin. Now I hang on to these, okay, only because you never know. This is a nice good brick pattern. It's a nice section of wall. I may be able to use this somewhere. In these 2, this one has a couple windows in it. You never know. You know what could come up later on down the road. So I hang on to them. Into the scrap bin they go. And this is how I built my scrap bin. So in case you were wondering, you know, I didn't go out and buy stuff for the scrap bin. That's where it all comes from. So now we need to put the walls on here. So I'm going to start with this end wall right here. And what I need to do is lift up, because we have this steps right here, this won't lay flat on the table, right? So it's not very good. So we need to lift this up. We'll take this like this. Like that. And we're going to add this piece. And we want to make sure we have that roof line detail on the bottom here. And this is going to go on here just like this. Alright, so let's get the glue out. Okay, so now I have I actually got one of these for Christmas. My son bought me this. It's a small machinist square. I've been looking for one of these for a long time, so I finally got a hold of one. And we're going to move this right out here. Okay, so I'm actually going to take a clamp. So that's one. And then we're going to move this over here. And we're going to take the second side. And we're going to move this right into here. So I'm putting this kind of heavy on here. And that should do it. I'll just take my square here and we'll see how square we are. See, we're a little bit off. So I'm going to bend this out like that. Yeah. So that's pretty close right there. We'll hold that one like that. We're going to let this dry. So alright, and then we want to check square on this as well. And we're pretty much right where we need to be. Okay. So now we have a freestanding building, and then the last wall. Now, when you're looking at this, you can see that this side wall here lines up with this line right here. We're in a pretty much straight line right there. So this other side wall is going to line up to that same mark on this side. So this is going to come in here like this. So we're going to cut this wall off. I'm going to use the clippers here. I'm going to cut it off right at the top of this window. Right at the window right here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's okay. That should still be all right. So if we cut this in here, should go just like that. Okay, so let's lay this flat, and then we're going to take this glue and glue, and we're going to move this right into place right here. Like that. Alright. That way when you're looking down the end like this, you have upper windows, see, on the other building. And this actually has to go up from that. Like that. So that goes like that. Now we have a set of windows above. And then the roof will continue across here. And then this all looks just fine. And that's it. So this is what we're left with. Now, I'm not going to go any further today because I need this stuff to set up and harden really well. So we're going to call it a day. But I think next week, after these walls have hardened, I think we can get into... I want to build an awning off the front of this that's going to come out an inch from the front of the building. So the building sits like this. So each of these squares here, the big squares, is an inch. So I want an awning that comes out to this line right here. Okay. And I want it to go from right this point here all the way back to this point and cover this whole entranceway. So it'll be a big awning coming straight out. I think we'll tackle that next week. And then we're going to start dividing up the back side of this because this is going to be fully LED lit. But not all the rooms, and I have some surprises for this. I've talked about it once or twice if you watched previous videos earlier where I talked about how this was going to be lit. I'm not going to go into it now, but needless to say, you know, stay tuned. There's some things coming here that you may or may not have seen. In the meantime, that's it for this video, guys. That's all I got for this week. If you watch me for the first time, please, by all means, subscribe to my channel. Love to have you along for the ride. Don't forget to like and share my videos. You know, let everybody see what's going on. So, anyway, until next time, happy modeling.